In the icy fjords of Norway, Ragnar Lothbrok gathers his loyal warriors under the glow of a blazing bonfire, their eyes reflecting excitement and anticipation. As the dawn breaks, Ragnar and his son, Bjorn Ironside, prepare their longship, the dragon figurehead gleaming as sunlight glints off the oars. In the heart of an Anglo-Saxon village, Ethelwyn gazes toward the horizon, sensing that the arrival of the Vikings is imminent, and her heart races. King Ethelred convenes a meeting with his advisors, his expression grave as he discusses the threats posed by the Viking raids. Ragnar's crew, full of adrenaline, launches their longship into the icy waters, chanting war songs that echo through the fjords. In the village, Ethelwyn trains with a wooden sword, her movements fierce and passionate, determined to defend her home. As the longship sails toward the shores of England, the skies darken, hinting at the perilous journey that lies ahead for the Vikings. Back in England, whispers of the Viking invasion spread like wildfire, igniting dread among the villagers. Ragnar and his men land ashore, swiftly disembarking the longship, eyes scanning the landscape for signs of life. Seeing the Vikings arrive, Ethelwyn steels herself, gathering her fellow villagers to prepare for the defense of their homeland. King Ethelred urges his men to fortify the village, a sense of dread settling over their preparations as they hear the distant war cries of the Vikings. Ragnar addresses his warriors on the beach, igniting their spirits with tales of conquest as the waves crash dramatically behind them. As night falls, the villagers gather for a desperate council, plans forming to defend against the incoming Viking raid. The Vikings prepare their weapons beneath the stars, the air thick with anticipation as they ready themselves for the raid. Ethelwyn vows to fight alongside her villagers, her voice a beacon of courage amid their fear, instilling hope. The battle horns sound in the distance, signaling the beginning of an epic clash between the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxon defenders. The villagers brace for impact as the Viking forces charge, their battle cries ringing out, clashing against the stillness of the evening. As Ragnar leads the charge, his massive axe held high, he embodies the might of the Viking spirit, determined to claim victory. The first clash of swords echoes across the battlefield, a cacophony of metal and desperation as the two forces collide. Amid the chaos, Ethelwyn fights valiantly, showcasing her resilience as she defends her homeland alongside her fellow villagers. King Ethelred rallies his men from a high vantage point, urging them to stand firm against the Viking onslaught, his voice booming with authority. In the midst of fray, Bjorn finds himself separated from Ragnar, engaging with a fierce Anglo-Saxon warrior, instincts kicking in as battle rages around them. Ragnar spots Ethelwyn in the fray, a flicker of recognition sparking a moment of hesitation within him. Ethelwyn feels a surge of purpose as she locks eyes with Ragnar. A silent understanding forms between them even amid the chaos. In an unexpected twist, Ragnar finds himself needing to protect Ethelwyn as a Viking warrior approaches her with ill intentions. As weapons clash, chaos erupts on the battlefield. The howling wind carries cries of battle, marking the struggle between Samhain and strength. With each clash of steel, Ethelwyn feels her heart race as she fends off an approaching Viking, her determination unwavering despite the odds. Ragnar notices Bjorn blocking a hostile blow aimed at him, their camaraderie reinvigorating their battle spirit as the tide begins to shift. In the village, King Ethelred urges his troops to hold their ground, rallying them toward a fierce defense against the invading forces. As a Viking warrior lunges toward Ethelwyn, Ragnar intercepts the blow, realizing her strength is as powerful as his own resolve. The fight intensifies as Bjorn shields Ragnar from a surprise attack by a rival Viking, forging deeper bonds of honor. As night envelops the battlefield, torches flicker, illuminating the fierce faces of warriors as they regroup for a renewed attack. King Ethelred consults with his trusted advisors, plotting a counter-offensive to drive back the relentless Viking forces. Ragnar, standing beside Bjorn and his warriors, feels the weight of leadership as they rally to charge into the fray once again. Ethelwyn rallies her fellow villagers, her voice ringing out as they prepare to defend their home against the darkness. The Vikings regroup, their battle strategies evolving as Ragnar shares his vision for conquering the Anglo-Saxon territories. A bold wave of energy rides through the Vikings as they chant their battle mantra, drawing courage from one another before the clash. The clash resumes with renewed ferocity as Ethelwyn holds her ground amid overwhelming odds, her spirit refusing to falter. King Ethelred strategizes an unexpected maneuver, trusting in his warriors' courage to reclaim control of the battlefield. In a moment of chaos, Ethelwyn earns the respect of her fellow villagers as she bravely fights alongside them, showcasing her true courage. Ragnar, inspired, encourages his warriors to fight with honor, invoking the legacy of their ancestors in battle to ignite their spirits. The battle escalates as Viking forces push forward, absorbing the onslaught, and the sound of clashing metal rises as all hope hangs in the balance. As dawn approaches, both sides feel the exhaustion of battle. A temporary respite brings an uneasy stillness in the air. Feeling a sense of kinship, Ragnar shares a rare moment with Ethelwyn, a fleeting understanding crossing the divide between their worlds. As the calm before the storm calms the battlefield, both leaders prepare for the next round, steeling their resolve for the days to come. The sun rises, casting a golden hue on the battlefield, revealing the aftermath of the fierce conflict. Bodies of fallen warriors line the field, both Viking and Anglo-Saxon, while the air is thick with tension and sorrow. Ragnar urges his men to honor the fallen and offers a moment of silence, signaling a unity that transcends their factions. Ethelwyn watches, pondering the cost of war and the fate of her people. As the sun climbs higher, Ethelwyn takes charge, rallying her fellow villagers to rebuild and fortify their defenses, determined to protect her home from future raids. Back on their longship, Ragnar confers with Bjorn about the next strategy, contemplating whether to return or continue the raids into the heart of England for greater glory. King Ethelred, fortified by Ethelwyn's rallying, devises an intricate plan to unite all neighboring kingdoms against future invasions, setting the stage for alliances. As the remnants of the battlefield are cleared, both sides begin to realize the potential for diplomacy rather than further bloodshed, igniting discussions of peace. Ragnar and Ethelwyn meet again in a neutral space, both realizing their lives have been forever changed by the events of war, leading to an unexpected bond. As negotiations unfold, both Ethelwyn and Ragnar acknowledge their respective cultures' strengths and struggles, enlightening each other beyond the confines of battle. Motivated by the possibility of peace, Ethelwyn proposes a joint celebration of their cultures, aiming to bridge the gap and foster camaraderie between the two peoples. Ragnar, touched by Ethelwyn's invitation, takes on the responsibility of leading his men in this cultural exchange, setting aside his warrior mentality. The celebrations unfold, with heartfelt exchanges of gifts marking the beginning of a new chapter between the two peoples, symbolizing hope and progress. As evening approaches, both Ragnar and Ethelwyn share a dance, symbolizing the merging of their cultures and the triumph of unity over conflict. After the celebration, Ragnar reflects on the power of resilience in both cultures, embracing the changes that have emerged from the previous conflict. Ethelwyn looks on from a distance, realizing that both she and Ragnar have grown from their encounters, shaping their destinies in unexpected ways. With newfound respect for each other, Ethelwyn and Ragnar pledge to work together, vowing to share knowledge and stories that will strengthen their ties. As the celebration fades into the night, the bond forged between the Vikings and Anglo-Saxons begins to transform into an unbreakable alliance, paving the way for peace. In the wake of their newfound alliance, Ragnar and Ethelwyn begin to strategize on how to benefit both communities economically and culturally, focusing on trade and shared festivals. With kindling hope, Ethelwyn and Ragnar observe as traders from both cultures exchange goods, establishing a market that breathes new life into their shared future. Ragnar and Ethelwyn stand proud as they watch their people interact, feeling the weight of their leadership morph into something empowering and full of promise. As seasons change, Ragnar and Ethelwyn's alliance matures, leading to important joint festivals celebrating their unity, filled with music, dance, and storytelling. With the success of their partnership, Ragnar and Ethelwyn envision a future of peace while still honoring the past and the sacrifices made along the way.